Upadesha, Shloka 12. नानारूपवती बोधे सुप्तौ लीनाति चञ्चला यतो दृगेकरूपस्त्वं पृथक् तस्याः प्रकाशकः. Okay, I will chant, you can repeat. नानारूपवती बोधे सुप्तौ लीनाति चञ्चला यतो दृगेकरूपस्त्वं पृथक् तस्याः प्रकाशकः. We are negating Vijnanatmavada. Vijnana, Buddhi, Vijnanamaya Kosha. According to some people, it is the Atma, the intellect, the faculty that deals with the cognition, deals with the decision, deals with the identification. It is the Atma. It is a contention. We are refuting the contention. Buddhi cannot be Atma because the Buddhi is a Nanarupavati. Bodhe Nanarupavati. Bodhe means during waking. During waking, the Buddhi takes many forms. It is constantly changing, ever changing. Now one thought, one cognition, after some time another thought, another cognition. Buddhi is not stable. If Buddhi is changeless, then these classes are of no use, because I cannot change your Buddhi. The classes are useful because your Buddhi can change. Your present level of understanding can change. Your present way of understanding, your present way of looking at life, looking at things around you, everything can change. And that is the purpose of studying Vedanta. Therefore, it is a blessing that the Buddhi can change. What can change can also improve. Since the Buddhi can change, the Buddhi can improve. Our understanding can improve. In Vedanta Shastra, what we do is to improve our understanding, improve our clarity. Nana Rupavati Bodhe. During waking, the buddhi takes Nana Rupa, many forms. Ati Chanchala, and it is Ati Chanchala, very fickle, very volatile. Every moment it keeps changing. It is so during waking, but when we sleep, what really sleeps is buddhi, the mind. Suptau Leena, during sleep, the buddhi is resolved, the buddhi is dormant. You don't see your buddhi. You see the absence of buddhi in deep sleep. The changes, the presence, as well as the absence of the buddhi are witnessed. You witness the changes, presence and absence of your buddhi. Therefore, you are the drik. Yataha drik. Therefore, yataha. Why? Why is it so? What enables you to see the buddhi? What enables you to see the presence and absence of the buddhi? What enables you to witness the changes of the buddhi? Because you are the drik, the consciousness, sakshi, and ekarupaha. Tvam ekarupaha. Buddhi is nana rupa. You are ekarupaha. You do not undergo change. The buddhi undergoes change. You witness the changes of the buddhi. Most often we say, we should change ourselves. We cannot change others. True. We cannot change others. It is not easy to change others. Even I am not changing you. Then what am I doing? I am just helping you to change yourself. If you are willing to change, I cannot change you. We think of changing others. The whole world is interested in changing others. But I tell you, we cannot change others. At the maximum, we can help them to change themselves if they are willing to change. Can we change ourselves? In a general parlance, yes. We can change our buddhi. We can change our mind. We can change our behavior. We can change the way we speak. But our true self, the Atma, it cannot be changed because it is free from all changes. Ekarupastvam, you are Ekarupaha. In fact, all changes in our buddhi, all improvement in our buddhi should culminate in recognizing this Ekarupaha. Aham Ekarupaha. This is where all changes culminate, all improvement culminate. Tvam Ekarupaha. Prathak tasyah prakashakaha. You are prathak. You are different from your buddhi. The buddhi is a drishya, object, and you are the drik. The prakashaka, the illuminer. Buddhi is prakashya, illumined, and you are prakashaka, the illuminer. Therefore, Vijnanatmavada is also negated. Thus we have arrived at the true self, the Chaitanya, which cannot be objectified. It cannot be objectified. The one that cannot be objectified is the one that deserves to be referred as I. Aham pratyaya yogyaha. It is the Atma. We will go to the next shloka. 13. Suptau dehadya bhavepi sakshi tesham bhavanyataha svanubhuti swarupatvat nanyastasya bhasakaha. So, who are you? The answer to this question will be that which cannot be removed from you is you. It is your Swarupa. That which does not disappear from you is you. That which does not go away from you is you. Everything else goes away from us. The body, mind, all the objects around us, they go away from us. We don't have to wait even for death. Just wait for tonight, that is enough. You can experience. the deep sleep. Suptihi, deep sleep. In deep sleep, dehadyabhava, there is absence of body, etc. The body goes away from you. You lose your body. And it happens every day. Every day we lose our body. We lose our mind also. Even the mind goes away. You don't see your mind. And our house goes away. All the belongings go away from us. We cannot use them. Everything is taken away from you for a while during deep sleep. If it can go away from us, it is not me, it is not us, it is not our nature, it is not our swarupa. What is our swarupa which does not go away from us? What remains even when all other things have gone away? Like in deep sleep is the consciousness. The consciousness is still there because we witness the absence of these things. We witness the absence of the body, absence of the mind, absence of the senses, even in deep sleep. Therefore, that is your nature. Chaitanya. Consciousness, awareness is your swarupa. And that is the Atma. Suptau dehadyabhavepi. In deep sleep, dehadyabhavepi. The body, etc. are not there. Yet, you are there, Sakshi. You are the Sakshi. And you are Tesham Sakshi. You witness all of them. You witness their presence and absence. Yataha. Since it is so, therefore the Sakshi, the Chaitanya, is your Swarupa. Now from second verse onwards, the author is answering a question. One will obviously get a question. If I am the consciousness, if I am the Atma, how can I experience my Swarupa? How can I experience my true nature, my true self? With what experience can I know my true self? Then the author answers, there is no experience which can objectify the Swarupa, because it is the very illuminer of every experience. the very illuminer of every experience, cannot be revealed by any experience, cannot be objectified by any experience. Swanubhuti Swarupatvat. The Atma is a Swanubhuti Swarupa. It is self-effulgent consciousness in nature. Jnana Swarupa. And being Jnana Swarupa, nothing can objectify the Atma. Nanyastasyaasti bhasakaha. Nothing can illumine the Atma, means nothing can objectify the Atma. Shloka 14. It is a very beautiful shloka and very important from the Vedantic point of view. In fact, I have not found any similar shloka elsewhere. Pramanam bodhayantantam bodham manena ye naraha बुभुत्सन्ते त एधोभिः दग्धुं वाञ्छन्ति पावकम्. So this is a very good answer to a person who seeks to get an experience which can reveal the Atma, who seeks to experience the Atma through a particular mystical state of mind. If you try to objectify the Atma, know the Atma through a particular experience, the author says, it is as good as seeking to burn the fire with the firewood. Burning the fire with the firewood. The fire burns the firewood. The fire cannot be burnt. The one who burns everything cannot be burnt. You cannot burn the burner. With the help of another agent of burning. The fire burns the wood. What burns the fire? Nothing burns the fire. The fire itself is burning in nature. We can have another example. The light illumines everything. What illumines the light? Do you need another light to illumine the light? You do not need another light. And you cannot illumine the light with the help of another light as well. There is no light which can light up the light. You do not have to light up the light with another light. You don't have to illumine the light with another light. The light illumines everything around itself, and it illumines itself also. It is self-luminous. It makes everything around itself evident, and it is also evident without the help of another physical light. Pramanam bodhayantam tam bodham. Tam bodham. The Atma is bodha. Consciousness. Bodha means Chaitanya. And the Chaitanya illumines all pramana. Pramanam bodhayantam. Every experience is a cognition in our mind. And every cognition in our mind is illumined by the Chaitanya. Therefore, it illumines every cognition. It illumines every experience. The Atma is the illuminer of every experience. Bodham manena ye naraha bodhayan bubhutsante. That kind of bodha, that kind of Chaitanya, manena, with the help of an experience, ye bubhutsante, the people want to find. You want to find consciousness with the help of an experience. Then it is like seeking to edhobhihi dagdhum vanchanti pavakam, seeking to burn the fire with the help of firewood. With the help of a firewood, you can burn other things. A firewood which has fire, you can burn other things, but you cannot burn the fire. And you don't have to burn the fire. Therefore, do not seek to have an experience, a mystical experience, to find the Atma. The Atma is never an object of experience. If a person says, I have seen the Atma, if you have seen, it is not the Atma. Because whatever is seen is a drishya. And the drishya is not a Chaitanya. Drishya is not drik. Atma is drigeva natu drishyate. Drigdrishya viveka. Then how to find the Atma? You don't have to find it. It is always found, ever found, ever shining, as the very self, as the very witness of even the body and mind, as the very witness of every cognition. Next, Vishwamatmanubhavati. Tenasau nanubhuyate. Vishwam prakashayatyatma. Tenasau na prakashyate. The same idea is clarified further. Vishwam Atma Anubhavati. The Atma knows everything. Atma witnesses everything. Tenasau nanubhuyate. Therefore, the Atma cannot be known as object. Vishwam prakashayatyatma. The Atma illumines everything, including the mind. Therefore, tenasau na prakashyate. Therefore, the Atma cannot be illumined. It is the very illuminer, light of all lights. Jyotisham Jyotihi. Therefore, it does not wait for an illumination. Next, Idrisham tadrisham naitat. Na paroksham sadevayat. Tad brahmatvam na dehadi. Drishyaruposi sarvadrak. Now one can ask, what is Brahman like? How does Brahman look like? This question also cannot have an answer, because how does someone look like? Look like, you should have a look alike. If you have to answer this question, you should have a look alike. Something similar to. Something similar to Brahman. And similarity. To have similarity, there should be attributes. What determines similarity between two things? It is attribute. Sadrishya. In Sanskrit, similarity is called sadrishya. To have sadrishya, there has to be attributes. In something that does not have any attribute, you cannot talk about sadrishya. You cannot talk about similarity. Therefore, you cannot explain how Brahman looks like, because it is the one that is free from all attributes. Also, it cannot be objectified. Another reason why you cannot say how Brahman looks like. What is Brahman like? It is not object. It is non-object. The non-object cannot be explained in comparison with another object. Therefore, idrisham tadrisham naitat. Etat idrisham na tadrisham na. Etat Brahma. This Brahman, this Atma, it is neither idrisham nor tadrisham. Neither like this nor like that. You cannot compare it to anything. There is no comparison to Brahman. Na paroksham. It is not even paroksha. There are things that are pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means what is directly evident to us is pratyaksha. What we can see, what we can hear is pratyaksha. Then there are paroksha. The remote. As of now, America is paroksha because I am sitting in India. The other planets are paroksha. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto is paroksha because I don't see them. But if I make use of a telescope, they become pratyaksha. Through some upakarana, through some instrument, they become pratyaksha. I can see Uranus, I can see Neptune, and I can see even the moons of Saturn, Jupiter. We can see that with the help of telescope. It is pratyaksha. Then there are things that we can never see. They are paroksha. Nitya paroksha. Like Swargaha. There is something called Swarga. In fact, there are many lokas. The Shastra talks about other lokas. We cannot see them, even with the telescope. because it is in another realm of existence. It is Nitya Paroksha. How do you know their existence? Only Shastra Pramana. The Shastra reveals them. There is Swarga. There is Brahmaloka. Shastra reveals. And the Shastra also reveals the means. How can I go to Swarga? The Veda Purva talks about these things. How to go to Swarga? You have to earn a lot of punya, plenty of punya, by performing certain rituals, by following the values. Then you can go to Swarga. But not with this body. This body cannot go to Swarga. Because this body is designed to exist in this loka. The human sharira is designed to survive in this bhuloka. You cannot take this body to Swarga. Leave this body, and then there is a journey. And the journey is decided by your punya. The Shastra talks about the journey of a departed soul, departed jiva, how he travels. Yehyehiti tamahutayas suvarchasaha Suryasya rashmibhiryajamanam mahanti. The Devatas, because of the punya that this person has done, the Devatas come and they escort him. There are escort Devatas called Ativahika Devatas, and they take him level by level, and finally he reaches Swarga. It is a journey, and it is described vividly in our Shastras. And the Shastras also say that these lokas are temporary. Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti tadyatheha karmachito lokah kshiyate evamevamutra punyachito lokah kshiyate. The Swarga is temporary. Any other loka is temporary. As long as you have punya, you can survive there. When the punya gets exhausted, we are sent back down to the earth. So the Swarga is Paroksha. Likewise, the Swarga is revealed by the Shastra, and Swarga is Paroksha. Likewise, one may think Even Brahman is revealed by the Shastra. Therefore, Brahman also should be Paroksha. Because Shastra generally reveals what is Paroksha. Then the author says, Brahman is not Paroksha. Though it is revealed by the Shastra, it is not Paroksha. It is a Nitya Aparoksha. Yat Sakshad Aparokshad Brahma. It is always Aparoksha. Never Paroksha. It never goes away from you. It never disappears from you. Because it is your Swarupa. Chaitanya. Na paroksham means aparoksham ityartha. Ever aparoksha. Ever evident. Sadevayat. It is Sat. The existence. Tad Brahmatvam. You are that Brahman. Na dehadi drishya ruposi. You are not deha, etc. Because the deha, the body, etc. etc. refers to mind, senses, everything. They are all drishya, objects. And being objects, they cannot be you. Because what is you? What I call you is what you call I. What you refer to as I refer to as you. And what can you refer to as I? It is your Atma. Aham pratyaya yogyaha. Therefore, it cannot be drishya. It cannot be object. You are Sarvadrik, the witness of everything, the seer of everything, the presence, absence, and changes, the witness of presence, absence, as well as changes of everything, including your body, mind, senses. Therefore, you are not body. You are not mind. You are the Atma, which is Brahman. Next, idam tvenaiva yad bhati sarvam tacca nishidhyate avacyan tattvamanidam navedyam swaprakashataha. Idam tvenaiva yadbhati sarvam tan nishidhyate. whatever is idam, all that is idam. Idam means this. All that deserves the reference this. What deserves the reference this? The drishya. All that can be objectified can be called this, idam. The table is idam. This table. We don't say I the table. We don't say I the laptop. This table. This computer. Why this? Why not me? Why I the table? Why not I the table? Because the table is objectified. I see the table. I objectify the table. Therefore, the table is idam. Likewise, even the body is idam. Even the mind is idam. Idantvena bhati. All that has to be negated. All that is anatma, non-self. Then what is the atma? Atma is anidam. Anidam means the one that can never become idam is called anidam, not idam. Not the one which becomes this. Not the one which deserves the reference this. Meaning the one that never becomes an object. Na vedyam. Anidam means it is not vedyam. It does not become Vedya. Vedya means object of knowledge. The Atma never becomes object of our knowledge, never becomes object of our experience. It never becomes the experienced. Then how to know the Atma? If the Atma does not become the object of any experience, then how can we know the Atma? How can we find the Atma? The answer is, it is Swaprakasha, self-effulgent. Therefore, you don't need to find it through an experience. It is Swaprakasha. And it is Avachyam. Avachyam Tattvam. The Atma is Avachya. It does not become object of even words. Even words cannot objectify the Atma. That means Atma does not become the direct meaning of any word, not the vachyartha of any word. Therefore, even the Upanishads do not reveal the Atma directly. They reveal the Atma indirectly. Lakshanaya, through the process of Lakshana. the Atma is revealed. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.